It's different. I know this myself, and those who often listen to my lectures know this. They can hear. When I give lectures, I don't have any notes or a script. When I read these ancient texts, I do spend some time carefully going through them. They provide me with some reference materials. But when I speak, I don't just follow their words or rely on their commentaries to deliver my talk. They were people of that era. They were speaking to the audience and listeners of their time, but society and people's hearts today are completely different from the past. So when we read the works of the ancients, it's to inspire our own wisdom. They can only serve as a reference. We need to have the ability to observe the current nature and disposition of the people. Only then can we respond appropriately and teach in a way that truly helps them and is genuinely useful for their ongoing learning and development. This helps resolve difficulties and achieves harmony, overall stability, peaceful and lasting prosperity in society as a whole, continued. Everyone can live a happy and fulfilling life. This is, in fact, the original and fundamental purpose of studying Buddhism. If you seek, you will receive a response. If you aspire to become a Buddha, what about everything else? Becoming a Buddha is the hardest thing of all. If you can even achieve Buddhahood, then all the worldly riches and glory are just trivial matters. How could there be anything you can't achieve? We need to have confidence. If you want your wishes to be answered, even if they're not, the effect is still significant. This teaching from a great Taoist master is something I've remembered all my life. It stayed in my heart since I first heard it. For those who overindulge in food and drink, he said, hunger and thirst will destroy both body and retribution. This one's easy to understand. It's about being greedy with food. These days, there are all sorts of strange illnesses in society, things we've never heard of before. Where do these illnesses come from? There's a saying that puts it well, illness enters through the mouth, and trouble comes out of the mouth. If you look at this, bad karma from speech brings about disaster. All sorts of misfortune come from what we say. And illnesses, as the saying goes, all come from what we eat. Illness often enters through the mouth. This time when I was in Hong Kong, a fellow practitioner actually told me that, in fact, a real sage, a true master, was discovered right here in Hong Kong. This was in the news. Everyone knew about it. It was a few years ago. There was a mother and daughter. He loved eating seafood. Every day when he came to this bay, he would always buy these river clams. He didn't catch them himself though. He'd buy the river clams, bring them home to clean and cook, then eat them. What about his later years? Was this woman, Kong Sai, really his mother? His mother ended up getting sick. When I was sick, I told everyone that there was a lot of water and there was mud and sand everywhere. I was crawling around in the room and it was like seafood crawling onto the shore, right? It looked like seafood, right? After that, her body started to rot and then she passed away. After she died, his daughter ended up getting the same illness. With no other options, they went everywhere seeking help, asking gods and fortune tellers. They came across a Taoist priest who told them this is the karmic retribution for a lifetime of killing and eating seafood. You need to repent immediately. He told them to release living creatures and to become vegetarian. But as for his daughter, even though she did as she was told at the time, it was still too late. She died anyway. After seeing what happened, his relatives and friends became lifelong vegetarians. They didn't dare eat this, eat these, eat any kind of meat anymore. This really happened to a real person. When she died, she looked just like one of those aquatic animals. The karmic retribution was clear to you. Even though this was reported as a social news story, I see that seafood restaurants in Hong Kong are still packed. People really are stubborn and hard to change. So, when bodhisattvas come across things like this, they should really make a film about it and show it everywhere. Put up a few posters in those seafood restaurants and let people see for themselves. It's just too frightening. Where do all the wars and violence in the world come from? It all comes from eating the flesh of living beings. These days, everyone cares a lot about their health. The best way to stay healthy is to eat vegetarian, and among vegetarian foods, raw vegetables are the best. I've been eating raw vegetables for over 2 months now. So you all see I'm quite thin, and when people lose weight, others often say, your health must be bad, you're socializing too much. Honestly, it's best to cut back on gatherings. Me. But in reality, life is changing now. The first time I made a change was when I became a full-time vegetarian. Back then, I was still thin, and it took about 2 or 3 years for my health to gradually recover. Second change, eat raw vegetables. So I haven't eaten cooked rice for over 2 months now, just raw veggies all the way. In the morning, I have a bowl of kanji, then 2 lettuce wraps, and a bowl of soup. Did we make any today? If we did, we'd offer wraps to senior monks. So, no oil, no salt at all, just eating everything raw. So I often think, you see cows and sheep eat grass, and they are so strong and healthy. They don't have any greasy oils or smoke from cooking. When you think about it, it really makes sense. So fellow practitioners recommended this to me, and after these 2 months of eating this way, I feel really comfortable. It truly does have its benefits. Yeah. We really need to pay attention to our diet, especially with modern eating habits. People's health isn't great these days. I can't speak for elsewhere, but in Taiwan pigs are slaughtered at 6 months old. The feed given to pigs is full of chemicals, including various additives and supplements, to speed up their growth, so they grow very quickly and are slaughtered at just 6 months. That's why the meat is full of toxins. It's not normal. And let me add, in the past, you see, livestock were all raised outdoors. When there was nothing going on, they lived freely and comfortably, their mood was cheerful and they were happy. But now, these animals are kept in cages from the moment they are born. It's like being a prisoner for life, and in the end, they are killed. Imagine their mood. Right? So their meat is full of toxins. How could people not get sick from eating it? They end up with all sorts of strange illnesses. Even being vegetarian is tricky these days. Vegetables have pesticides, and I've heard there are chemicals in rice too. So, even though the rice looks nice, it's actually toxic. This is what the scriptures say. Worldly suffering is poison. This is the kind of life we are living these days. Back in Taiwan, on the farms, the farmers would grow their own vegetables to eat, separate from the ones they sold. They'd say the vegetables for sale weren't safe to eat, they were toxic. They knew it, but still sold them to others. The same is true for rice. The rice they eat is grown by themselves, and when they sell rice, they sell it to others separately. Even though he sold those toxic things to others, he couldn't avoid being harmed by the toxins himself. That's not a kind heart. So, you could say we are pretty fortunate these days. It was only through fellow practitioners that we found out ozone can neutralize pesticides. That's why, when we eat fresh vegetables now, they've been treated with ozone, which breaks down all the harmful substances inside. So, it's much cleaner than what you get outside. This is something that should really be promoted widely. So I'm looking for the factory that makes these machines, hoping they can produce them on a large scale. We'll find a way to spread the word about it. With a healthy diet, a pure mind, a compassionate heart, we can have both physical and mental well-being. There isn't a single method that isn't the Buddha's teaching. Every method is a Dharma method. That's all for today. We'll finish here.
Amitabha Buddha, Amitabha Buddha, Amitabha Buddha, and so on, repeated a total of 12 times. Amitabha. Buddha. Amitabha Buddha. Hey. Amitabha.